Let's dive right into one of the most staggering, mind-bending paradoxes in the entire Zohar. It's a divine contradiction that sits at the very heart of existence, and it all starts with this one phrase, Ve'atem hadvekim, and you who cleave. But what exactly are we cleaving to? Well, the answer is as profound as it is absolutely terrifying.
So the scene is set with this incredibly powerful and frankly scary image from Deuteronomy. The divine presence isn't a gentle breeze or a quiet stream. Nope. It is an esh akla, a consuming fire. We're talking about a force of absolute total purification, an intensity that by its very nature devours and annihilates whatever it touches. The warning here seems crystal clear. Stay away, right?
And then, in the very same chapter, you get this. But you who cleave to the Lord your God are alive. And not just alive, but alive every one of you this day. Get this, it doesn't say you who kept a safe distance are alive. It says you who did the exact opposite, who clung to this very same consuming fire, you are the ones who truly live. This isn't just a contradiction, it's a cosmic riddle, and it demands an answer.
So this is the central question we are going to unpack. How is this even possible? How can you draw life from a source that's literally defined as a consuming, destructive force? You know, the Zohar doesn't treat this as just some nice poetry. It treats it as a question of spiritual physics. And today, we are going to unravel the exact mechanism behind it.
Here's our roadmap. We'll start with the paradox itself. Then, we'll reveal the secret of the two fires hiding within the one. We're going to get into the mechanics of the name as the key to your survival. Then, we'll translate this ancient secret into a modern analogy, a cosmic firewall, and then into a story, a hero's path. And finally, we'll see how this act of cleaving is the ultimate bridge to life.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, the paradox of the flame. We are jumping straight into the heart of this divine mystery, right where life and annihilation seem to meet. The Zohar just zeroes right in on this. It sees this apparent contradiction not as some problem to be explained away, but as a doorway to a much deeper truth. It's asking about the fundamental structure of reality itself. I mean, think about it. When sacrifices were brought on the altar, the divine fire consumed them completely. And yet, the text tells us we are supposed to cleave to that exact same essence. So what is the hidden mechanism that makes survival inside the furnace possible? And the key is in this one word, divakut. Its root in Hebrew, devek, means glue. This is not about a casual belief or just thinking nice thoughts. It's an all-encompassing, existential state of adhesion. Seriously, imagine being glued to the surface of the sun. That is the kind of intensity we are talking about. It's an active, intimate, and what seems like an absolutely impossible state of being.
So how in the world do we begin to solve this puzzle? Well, the first secret the Zohar reveals is that the fire we see, the fire we perceive, is not monolithic. We're not seeing the whole picture. This flame has a dual nature, an outer shell and an inner core.
This slide lays it out perfectly. The Zohar talks about an outer blue-black fire, the Asha Ukma. This is the attribute of strict judgment, what we call din. It's the part that consumes and purifies. But, and this is everything, within that terrifying flame is a brilliant white fire, the Asha Chivra. This is the inner essence, the attribute of mercy, or rachamim. This is the light that sustains, elevates, and gives life. So the secret isn't to avoid the fire, it's to connect to its inner, life-giving core while navigating its outer, consuming shell. And here is the absolute linchpin, straight from the text itself. The Zohar makes it so clear that these are not two separate, competing fires. It says the whole is connected in a single unification. The blue-black fire is just how the white fire shows up in our world of cause and effect. So you don't fight the outer fire, you align yourself so deeply with the inner reality that the outer fire just doesn't affect you in the same way.
Okay, so if the goal is to bypass the outer fire and plug into the inner one, how is that actually done? How do you do it? This is where the Zohar gives us the precise mystical engineering. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about a very specific alignment with the very structure of the divine.
And here's the blueprint. It involves aligning yourself, your consciousness, with the letters of the divine name. Think of each letter as a step on a ladder. First, you start with the last letter, the lower hey. That represents Malchut, our physical world, the place we actually encounter the fire. Then you ascend through the letter Vav, which acts like a bridge, connecting you through the 6 emotional and ethical centers of your being. Steps 3 and 4 take you even higher, to the upper Hey and the Yud, which are these sublime levels of understanding and pure wisdom. And step 5? That's the payoff. When all these levels are consciously aligned inside of you, the name becomes a whole, unified channel. The fire of judgment doesn't go away. It now flows through you, and its raw energy is transformed into the life-giving white light.
And the Zohar adds another layer of precision with numbers. You've got the number 13, which is huge. It represents the 13 attributes of mercy that are now flowing through this channel you've created. Then there's the number 5, symbolizing the grasping hand of connection, the 5 Sephirot, from Chesed to Hod. The point is, Dvekut is not some vague, fuzzy feeling. The Zohar presents it as a structured, metaphysical process that literally activates specific divine channels.
Now, I know this ancient mystical architecture can be a lot to take in, so let's try to translate it into a modern tech framework that might make it click even more. We're going to shift from the mystical to a digital analogy.
To do this, we have to access the level of understanding called Sod. That's the secret, hidden layer of meaning. This is where we look past the surface story and we start to see the underlying code, the cosmic architecture that's actually powering reality.
Okay, so let's map this out. Think of that consuming fire as a high-intensity divine firewall. Its job is to incinerate any unauthenticated or malicious data that tries to get through. A soul, your soul, is an authenticated user, but to get access, you can't just crash against the firewall. You'll be deleted. You need the right protocol. Cleaving, Dvekut, is that secure handshake protocol, like TLS for the soul. And the cryptographic key that makes the handshake possible, that's the divine name. It is the root-level access key. When you use it correctly, the firewall doesn't just let you pass. It grants you full access to the secure, life-giving energy of the inner white light, the core processing server of reality.
So if you put it all together, what we're really looking at is a form of cosmic engineering. It's an incredibly sophisticated system designed to filter and purify all these raw, incompatible inputs. But for those processes that have the right authentication, the system doesn't just grant access, it actively preserves and elevates them with higher levels of energy and information. In this system, you see, the fire is a feature, not a bug.
Let's shift our perspective one more time. We've done the mystical mechanics, we've done the tech analogy. Now let's frame this as a story, a narrative that anyone can understand, across all generations. Almost like we're learning the rules to a video game. All right, let's engage gamer mode. Imagine that life is a massive cosmic video game, and we're all players trying to get through its most challenging level, the fire zone.
The rules of the game are pretty simple. The world has a dangerous fire zone. That's the blue-black flame of judgment, and it damages any player who touches it. But you're a special player. You have a secret power-up, your soul's direct connection to the game's developer. You activate this power-up by finding and assembling a 4-part key, YHVH, through your actions and your intentions. And here's the crazy twist. The key doesn't make you immune to the fire, it lets you pass through it. And inside the fire is a safe white-lit core where you don't just survive, you gain power, you level up. And that fire that was once your biggest threat, it's now your ultimate shield, protecting you from everything else outside.
Okay, we've looked at this from so many angles. The mystical, the technological, the story. Let's bring all these layers home. Let's bring it all together for the final, most important insight. How do we actually apply this secret?
And this is the point for all of us right here, right now. That consuming fire isn't some abstract theological idea from a book. It represents the trials, the challenges, the harsh judgments, and the painful experiences of your life and my life. The Zohar is handing us a user's manual for how to navigate our own personal fire zones.
So what are the real takeaways? First, every single outer challenge you face is secretly an invitation for a deeper inner connection. Second, survival and growth are never about resisting the fire, about pushing back. They're about aligning with a deeper, hidden structure within it. Third, your personal authentication key is built from your consciousness, your actions, and your genuine, heartfelt desire to connect. And finally, the ultimate secret. True connection, true Dvekut, doesn't just protect you from destructive forces, it transforms them. The very fire that threatened to consume you becomes the engine of your greatest growth.
And that leaves us with a final question for you to take with you. Looking at your own life, right now, what is the consuming fire that you're facing? What is that challenge that feels so overwhelming? And, based on everything we've explored, how can you stop pushing against its outer heat and instead start aligning with its inner white light so that you don't just survive it, but you use its very energy to thrive?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.